Hey everybody, this is the first in my video series on caves. I will be doing all the caves on the island, including underwater caves, as well as Scorched Earth and Aberration, as they are the official maps. In my case, I am doing a playthrough, and I want to get everything done before the DLC release, or right about at that time. We're going to be starting it off with what's considered to be the easiest cave on the island. It's the Lower South Cave, or cave where you get the Hunter artifact. This artifact is used to summon the Brood Mother, which is one of the easier bosses, and a great boss to farm for tech stuff. Now, where the path to lead up entering the cave is here. Let's give you a little look. You get to about 7950. You'll see that path, which I believe I've just lost my way already. As we cut down here, you've got your path, and it'll lead up to the cave entrance, which we'll be arriving at very soon. And here's your entrance. So again, Lower South Cave, 8053, as you can see on the GPS, and just to give you a look at it on the map, you see we've got a map marker on this server, which is great, but it's right there. Alright, so let's head in. One thing for sure, if you're bringing dinos that you're not bringing in my case we cannot use flyers on inside caves on our server. That's generally the way it is on most officials. This video works if you're an Xbox, PS4. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Won't be able to get rid of that GPS there. Let's just do this. So this video will work for you regardless of what you're on. We play pretty close to vanilla settings. One difference is we do have the max dino level at 5, or difficulty setting at 5, which gives us dinos at 150. So that's a little bit more of a challenge. First thing I want to talk about is the gear I'm bringing. What I bring and what you need is very different. I happen to be rolling a pretty heavy duty kit here, but what you need is not exactly the same. I did post a link to the wiki for this cave in the info section of this video. A lot of it's outdated. I'll be honest with you, it's not ideal, but there's still some stuff there that could come in handy. One thing I do, I have a specific bird for caves that I keep pretty well geared up with quite a few items. I'm going to go ahead and throw my GPS in there. So let's talk about kit and XP points before we get started. First and foremost, depending on the difficulty level of the cave, I am going to go ahead and place some sleeping bags. I do name one. The reason being, we've got about 30 people in our tribe, a lot of beds, and of course, when I die, there's going to be a lot of beds to choose from. If you're new or it's first time doing this cave, you might feel a little panicked that first time you die. You might be in a rush to get back. Having that labeled and taking a quick look at this map before I start gives me an idea so that I can get to that the correct sleeping bag really fast. Let's talk points real quick. I happen to be a level 101, absolutely not required to do this cave. One thing I'm not putting points into are food, water, melee damage, and crafting skill. Crafting skill is another video. There is a great reason to do that, but it's not needed now. As well as with the mind wipe, you can always reset these points depending where you're playing. It's only once per level. Again, another video, we're not going to get into it. But what you will want is a decent amount of health, a decent amount of stamina. For me, speed is important, especially if you're by yourself, you're not bringing in dinos, you're going to need to be able to run. Speed's important for me in the early game as well, because at least I can run away from stuff. I'm not going to be able to tank health in the early game. So speed's something I like to use a lot. Fortitude here at 28, that's flex. You could be anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20. Fortitude basically allows you to take a little bit more poison before passing out, and also gives you a little bit more mitigation as far as the temperatures goes. Now, on the wiki outdated factor, it does mention that this cave is freezing, that you need warm clothes. That is not the case. Hide, I happen to be carrying ghillie. I like it because it helps me hide, or the enemies don't see me as well. But hide gear will work fine in this cave. As far as food goes, you can't go without it. Bring 2 stacks of meat. I'm going to get by with 1. Maybe 2 would be better, honestly, because I'm going to be in here for a while showing you guys around. Water. This cave has some lakes in it, or ponds. Water isn't going to be key, but I do carry the same kit for every cave, more or less. So I will have a jar of water on me at all times. Medical brew is fairly easy to make. The ingredients aren't too rough. I recommend it. I honestly don't see why you would go without it. It's going to save your life a couple times, and as opposed to having to respawn at your sleeping bag and run back, that could come in handy. Freya, really not necessary. Freya mitigates the temperatures, so if it's too cold or too hot, Freya helps take care of that for you. It will increase your rate of food and consumption, so that can be a bit of an issue if you're not stacking enough food. And the reason, with these clothes on, as you see, I don't have any icons here showing me that I'm cold or hot. But there are dinos that spit acid in this cave, and they will destroy your armor in virtually one shot. And that's where the Freya can come in handy. But you could run this cave naked. You'll always have a snowflake here, but you won't get the ice cube. And with the snowflake, you'll burn a little bit of this stuff faster, maybe your stamina, but it won't kill you. Lesser Antidote is really not needed in this cave. You can get super rabies from those bats or oryx, I believe they're called. Lesser Antidote is very hard to craft. It requires some unique ingredients. I would just not bother with it. Stimulant you don't need, but absolutely bring stim berries. This cave does have some spiders in it. It also has the scorpion, and the scorpion will knock you out, as well as some other dinos that are here. If you have stim berries in your hot bar or stimulant ready to go, you can spam that and avoid passing out. Of course, passing out when you're alone is a problem. If you have a partner with you, they can access your inventory while you're passed out and wake you up quicker. As far as weapons goes, this is a little bit more than you would need. I'm running alone with no dinos. I also play on a 4-map cluster, so we can go to Scorched Earth. I've been on the map since June. We're now almost mid-August, and I spent my first 6 weeks on the map grinding and farming materials, as well as doing, sometimes 3 to 4 hour tours of supply drops on Scorched Earth. This allowed me to get some fantastic weaponry. It's still hard for me to repair, but you just don't need this. If you got it, bring it. Sniper rifle headshots are highly effective, even from a lower end sniper. Regular shotgun, or the more modern pump action shotgun, I find it very handy. I don't really roll without one, but you don't need the high-end shotgun. You got yourself a pistol or something, that's great. And even a crossbow, a decent level crossbow with decent arrows will probably do the job. This is a kit that I bring because I don't bring dinos into caves. I do when it's needed, something like the swamp cave, but in general I enjoy the shooting and the challenge of doing it without. Sword for me is way above the pike. The reason being is its speed. The pike does not strike this fast. It will not do as much damage as this sword. Most likely I won't be using the sword in this cave, but I don't leave home without one. As far as dinos go, my ideal for this cave would be a wolf or a cat, but there's quite a bit of flexibility. There is a section where the artifact is, where you cannot get your dino in, but it's very small. You can leave it safely parked at the door, and you won't have a problem just going to get the artifact and getting out. And we'll show you how to be careful to kill the things in there beforehand. In our server, you cannot fly in caves or build in caves. If you can, lucky you, it'll be a lot easier. Placing foundations will reduce the spawns, but it's just so unnecessary on this cave. Baryonyx, a great dino to bring with you. The frog, not recommended. It tends to get jammed up. You see those low ceilings, that's a problem. Carno, why not, but limited where it can go. The compy, they say excellent on the wiki page. I just don't see myself taming a bunch of compies to bring in here. Just doesn't make sense. If you can bring a dimorph on your shoulder, okay, sounds pretty exciting. Just don't need it though. Some people bring a whole flock. Again, that's on the wiki, not something I'm necessarily going to be doing. Dire Bear is a bit of a problem. Not recommended. It does get jammed up. You see those low ceilings plus you sitting on it. I also find the Dire Bear a little slow until it has a straight stretch to build up speed. Not a lot of long straight stretches in here, so that can be an issue. This cave is a great place to tame dung beetles. It's the easiest cave on the island, as I might have already mentioned, and the dinos don't tend to respawn too much. So once you clear an area, you can take your time to have that dung beetle. If you've got a partner with you to run back up, fantastic. But I would be happy to tame a dung beetle here alone without any help. Again, cats and wolves would be my recommendation. They're small, they're maneuverable, they're effective, and in some of the water parts we're going to see they can jump over. As far as I understand, there are two two artifacts in this cave. I thought I remember 3, but Let's hope we can find all of them. And again, you're going to be running this cave more than once if you're planning on doing the broodmother a couple times, so you don't necessarily have to get everything the first time. Outside of that, some of the dinos we're going to see in here, you got your scorpion, you got your dung beetle, you got your spider with its web, a little dangerous, piranha, sarco, titan boa. They say on the wiki a raptor. I've personally never seen one. They say on the wiki a megalosaurus. I don't think I've ever seen one. I probably ran this cave 10 times, don't recall a megalosaurus. If we see one, I'm going to shoot it because I have my sniper. If you see one, don't take that chance. Of course, always make sure your weapons are reloaded before starting. So we're going to check every weapon and reload it. Especially this one. I need it to work quickly. Let's get going. I'll always be rolling my sniper. We're going to start off by heading to the right, where I believe we're going to find an explorer note and a drop box or a loot crate. And then we're going to be pulling back right up to where we are. Now, here's one area we could jump down if we had a parachute. Parachutes are pretty great in caves. Not the worst idea. We're not going that way this time. I like to check my corners. A lot of times you're not going to find much in the cave as you go in the first time. So again, I'm just checking my corners. There's nothing there. Not really needed maybe on this cave, but in a more difficult cave, you don't check that corner, head down here and engage. You might end up with stuff coming from behind on you, and we definitely don't want that. We're just moving right along. As you can see, it's fairly quiet start. Usually is with this cave. But that doesn't mean you want to relax too much, especially if you haven't done it too many times. Stay alert. Check your corners, just like any game where you're shooting. I tend to reload after 2 rounds. It's not much different than anything else if I have the time. If not, I'll burn through all my ammo. So here's where we're going to make our right turn. Again, check that corner. Oh, so there's our first dung beetle. We can tame this guy, no problem. And as long as we don't start any trouble, it should go well. So bring poo. Or bring stim so that you can juice your argent or whatever animal you got up at the doorway. So here we are getting out. Here's our first threat. Okay, these are the guys that will spray, I believe, acid at you and wreck your armor. So for me, it's going to be fairly easy to kill them. I'm going to focus sniper headshots. If you don't have the greatest weapons, you might want to attract some attention. And again, check your retreat line. Make sure your retreat line is clear. That's another reason to check those corners. So I know I've got a solid retreat line. That means I've got an escape plan, so to speak. You can outrun almost any dino in a cave. The oryxes would be a little different. I happen to catch a crit hit there. Fantastic. Some dinos take crit hits easier than others, I've noticed. Now, we got a lot of problems down here, as we can see. Those spiders will cast a web on me. My explorer note's right there. I've already got it, but we want to get to it. Do I want to risk it without shooting these spiders? I'm going to pass. Once I get that... Oh, look at that scorpion as well. Once I get that explorer note, of course, I'm going to be a little paused while I bring it up, and that could be devastating. So anytime we're getting an artifact or explorer note, we want to make sure that everything's cleared up beforehand. You can see how easy it is with a high-end sniper. Believe me, this could easily be done with lower-end weapons. What I would do is pick them one at a time and kite them. I don't want to fight all 6 or 7 dinos, so I'm going to attract attention from him. I'm going to turn and run. He's very slow. Give myself some distance. Turn, fire. Run, turn, fire. Run, turn, fire. That's it. Straightforward. Nothing too challenging there. Let's go make sure my whole right side is clear before we get stuck with that explorer note. So this looks good enough. Oh, we're going to go over here. Oh, yeah, I got the note. Moving along. The beauty of that note early is your XP now has a boost while you work the cave, which is fantastic. If you're on your cat or your dino, your cat or dino get a boost. And you can, as you kill stuff, you're going to rank up that dino real well. So that's what happens when you're not checking your walls. You see that guy just creeped up on me. Sounds important. I'll draw my shotgun. And that's why you need those stim berries. This guy will knock you out. And that stimulant or stim berries will keep me alive, keep me awake. Passing out is not a good thing. So there's one of the earlier loot crates. They're all green in here. In some cases, probably not worth the risk. I hear stuff but don't see it. That's pretty common in a cave. Sometimes it's things jammed in walls. However, when I hear it, I pull back, reassess, check my corners. That's a titan boa by the sounds of it, or possibly a scorpion. There he comes. It's a spider. And he was up here. You know, and sometimes you don't see them. They kind of glitch into the walls. You'll hear them, and they won't even fall. But we need to be careful because we don't want to end up encircled. I'll be able to fight my way out because of the gear I have, but that may be more difficult for someone who's not at my level. We're just going to double check before we distract ourselves. It's always the same story. You don't want to go into an inventory in a cave without looking around. Nothing. Ooh, wait, maybe there is. Okay, I'm going to take that. Obviously, you see with the greens, I'll pass. That's a hard pass, and you'll get a lot of that in these easier caves. So there's not much more for me to do down on this right side, but we're going to go explore it a little just because you guys are here. We got our lake there. And once that's done, we're going to go back up and take a look at our left side. The most dangerous part of these caves is the water for various reasons. Various reasons meaning piranhas and all kinds of other things. So we're going to go in and just take a look, make sure there's no loot crate in there. I don't believe there is. That lake there is very dangerous. Again, just checking. Don't wanna have any surprises. Oh, that's a surprise. And if you're not wearing a ghillie suit, that thing's gonna see you beforehand. And look at that, attacked from behind. There's where I need to get my stimulant right now. Keep me awake. Find out what just got me. And you see that retreat line is very important at this point. And again, the only difference with lower end guns, you're going to fire more rounds. It's not a game changer. The cave's still very doable. Oop, you see what happens when you don't reload? Imagine if that thing was closer to me. Headshots, no matter what gun you're carrying, are more effective, and you have a chance at a crit hit. You don't need a headshot to get that chance, but you do increase your odds when you have it. Let's just snoop around a little bit more. We are going to head back up to the left. Those are the guys that wreck your armor. As you see, they're one of those dinos that take crit hits easier. And I know there's some people out there saying, well, no wonder it's easy, he's got that gun. Yes, it's definitely easier with the gun. But you don't need it. I roll this cave with noobs that are in my tribe all the time. As you see, we got another explorer note here. Extra caution. I'm personally not farming in caves. There's enough metal and gear outside. I don't want to become encumbered. And outside on the island, back in the day this might have been needed, especially for things like obsidian, but be realistic. Outside with your Argent, your Doed, your Ankilo or whatnot, it's going to be a lot better way to go. Now, we're not going to be going into the lakes yet because we want to go check out what would happen had we headed in the other direction from the very top. So we are going to cruise back up there. And then I'm going to show you how to clear these waters if you're a lone no dino. But we aren't going swimming yet, and we definitely aren't going swimming with our gun drawn. We're going to need to move fast. One thing for sure, the way I'm going to draw them out swimming is I'm going to be taking some damage, and that's where the armor would come in handy. This ghillie suit isn't the best one. I reserve that for specific caves. It's a little bit expensive to repair. We're going to go ahead and head up right back to where we started. And again, it's, for me it's very easy to get lost in a cave. For others, they have the brain. Everybody's brain's a little different, functions differently. Some have better minds for mapping. I do not. But we know that if we just head upwards, we'll be okay. So we'll keep checking. Odds are nothing's respawned since I passed through. It's not the quickest spawn. Let me grab a sip of my coffee here, boys and girls. YouTube analytics says 100% of the people that watch my videos are men. Now, I think that's just more of a registration issue. But so we've got 2 artifacts so far. That tells me there's probably 3. I believe there's one right near the actual... sorry, we got 2 explorer notes so far, and I believe there are 3, and I think there's one right near the actual artifact. So we're going to find out. WIKI says 2, right? So that's what I'm telling you. It's not up to date, but it does warn you right on the page this is not up to date. If you want to add info, go for it. Alright, so we're right back where we started. Sleeping bags. We headed right the first time. Okay, let's see what happens when we go left. And left is the route to the artifact, if I'm not mistaken. At this point I might start to think that stuff's respawning. I'm going to start double checking corners again, maybe traveling a little slower. Did I not boost my stamina? No, we've just been sprinting a little bit much there. So let's eat a little bit of food. And have a sip of my water. I always want to be monitoring those gauges in the bottom right, of course. It's pretty straightforward, but slow down on the sprinting a little. So we see now we're heading in the lighting looks a little different. Heading in a different direction. And we'll be coming up to the green pastures, so to speak, up ahead here. So we went right the first time. Well, this time we're going to head left. And if you didn't remember to bring stimberries, there's a few ways to get them inside. Obviously this pasture, if you want to call it that. And the other way is checking the bags on the dinos you kill. So we're going to take a look over here, but it's not the direction we're going to go. You could, if you had parachutes or a grappling hook or don't mind to waste some health, jump down there. You never know what happens when you jump into an area. You definitely want to take a look first, but we're going to go the longer way. Either way, you'll end up at your goal, whichever direction you decide to take. And now I'm going to be a little more cautious, as I've not been down here yet on this particular mission. Over here is that deadly lake. Pretty safe though if you've got a little bit of health, if you want to jump, especially with the cat or the wolf, which has a good jumping distance. We could jump across to there, no problem. Sorry about those screen flashes. I get that on the water a little bit. Good, so we've got some more dinos to deal with here. Now I'm going to snipe them, but I can't say it enough. If you want, just kite them, try and deal with them one at a time. But I'm not going to be running up to that scorpion to kite it back, because what's over here, right? I might get screwed. So let's start with him. And you know, the levels in this cave aren't too bad either. I'm just going to show you, that's where we could have jumped down. Let's go take a look. Carefully. Careful. There is a spot in this cave that's still glitched where you automatically pop up to the surface. It's on the WIKI, the exact location. Unfortunately, worst case scenario. There's our artifact up there. We're not going to get to it yet. And there's two ways to get to the artifact. That's one. And you saw, and we'll see it again, that the cliff's a little bit low. There's a ledge. Sounds like those are something's behind us. There he is. Now let's just let him web us here. That's just going to show you not to panic. Again though, I want to check my retreat line. Okay, now I'm going to let him do some damage. Look at that. Okay, so we can still fire. We can still reload, but we're moving slow. So just don't panic. Take the heat. Okay, now I'm going to pop some stim just in case. Okay, health is still good. The armor was holding great, so we have no real problems there. If you didn't have the armor, that might have wrecked it a bit. The problem with those webs is in other caves, when we're talking about the oryx or the bats that are with it, and then being slow can be pretty scary. So in this case though, things are calm, quiet, friendly almost. I might set up a picnic here actually, thinking about it. Have a little lunch, see if the girlfriend wants to come out, you know, or boyfriend, significant other, whatever you're rolling with is great as long as you're enjoying life. We're just, you know, snooping around, checking things out, see what we can find. I don't recommend going for a swim in here yet. There is green loot drops in that water. Is it worth it? No. They're not usually items that are that good, and it's a heck of a time getting them cleared up. There's a next path to our artifact. Okay, let's go take a look over there. You see we can clear this entrance a little bit easier. I think there's something, feels like there's something off to my right. And one thing you'll notice is I'm not just running into stuff. And that would apply even when you're on a cat. Take your time. Let's just snoop around a little bit more. Then we're going to grab the artifact, and then we're going to go take a look at these lakes and see what it's all about. Really just a big clear area, not much on the go here. I was hoping just to find that cliff drop that we had come off, but I had showed you that you could jump down when I mentioned the parachute thing. It's easy to get back to there from here. I just don't remember the way. Like I said, I get lost a lot in caves. Probably, there it is, okay? So we could have jumped down there and come right here for the attack. But it'd still be a little risky with that not cleared up first. Let's get to work on the artifact. Dinos is probably the most enemies and dangerous ones you'll find are through here. And we got a spider there. Didn't check our corners. And even if we did, we might not have seen him. He was probably up in these walls. And I find even when you look at the walls, they're sometimes right inside the walls. I'm not sure. There he is. Okay, so there's the time we need to get that stim going. We do not want to fall asleep. I can't say enough how important stim berries or stimulant are. I don't hesitate. Falling asleep right now would be okay. There's nothing that's going to harm me. I would just have a little break maybe, get a coffee, come back. But when there's enemies around, that's a major problem. So here's where you might have a hard time fitting your dino in. It's a very small area. Not going to be a major issue. This guy's a problem, that guy's a problem. We do have some problems there. And again, you notice over and over again that as soon as I see something, I'm turning back. I just want a little space. I want to keep the situation in control. I don't want the dinos pushing me into a panic and controlling me. Now, I don't like the blur here, of course. It makes it a little bit more difficult to see what's around. We're going to get our shotgun out and reload it. Sniper's a little low. Let's reload that while we have a second. And we're going to be using extreme caution in here. These guys would react a lot faster if it wasn't for the ghillie suit. They just don't see me that well. I'm going to be sticking to the outside, and I'm really aware of my exit strategy, because things could get bad in a spot like this. I think we're pretty good, but just got to be sure. So I feel safe enough to grab the artifact now. Sometimes there's two there, like I'll pick it up and it'll stay. There'll be another one that spawns right away. If that's the case, I actually drop this one and take the next one just because I don't like that blurriness. I like to be able to see. Now we're going to exit by the other entrance. It's a little bigger. Can be handy if you're bringing in dinos, but I still think it's hard to get a wolf or cat in there. But I mean, you saw how small it is. We really don't need that. And that would basically be a clear on the artifact and explorer notes as far as I can tell. If you want the loot crates, you're going to be going for a swim. And boy, oh boy, is swimming not fun. So here at least we have an easy ramp to get up. Okay, so we're going to do a little kiting now. You see our loot crate down there? Whoa, went in a little too early, didn't check those corners. Going to pay a price. See what's coming at me. Pull back to my safe line. There he is. Always, always know your exit strategy. We would not want to be going in the water to kite out the mega piranhas and have to deal with these things as well, right? Man, I'm getting a lot of flash. That's a little abnormal. See what we can do about that for the next one. We at least want to clear everything above the surface before we get in there. Here we gamma up a little bit. That's way more flicker than I get. I usually get one or two. So this is going to be a headache. It certainly would be almost better if I didn't have the ghillie on, because they'd see me. What I want to do in this case, because I'm alone, this is where the baryonyx might come in handy, right? Great swimmer, murderous. But what I'm going to do is get down there, try and lure them. The Sarco's probably going to see me first, and then I'll show you another technique and why I love the grappling hook. And the mega piranhas could pose a problem. Look at that. Those two guys are a problem. Now that we know where they are, let's see if we can snipe them from a distance. But we're going to do something else a little bit funky that I love. Absolutely key in the snow cave. This bad boy right here. In the snow cave, I can't live without it. Oh, someone's got me from up high. No panic. I'm not going to be jumping into the water, that's for sure. Kill these up first. We'll find that spider eventually. We're not falling asleep or anything. Don't want to panic. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. First note on the book. Don't panic. These guys will just tear you to shreds. There's too many of them. Even low level, they swim fast. There's the spider swimming in the water. He's gonna get wrecked. We'll deal with this thing first. Where's that little spider that was caught? Oh, even the snakes came up for a visit. This is great. Working from safety here. You could be, you can't be shooting your crossbow, of course, though, right? So those grappling hooks are pretty good. They're a little later game, though. If that's the case, just don't go for this green thing. It's really not going to be worth it. We're just doing this as a demonstration, but under no circumstances would I waste my time going for that green loot box, unless you're the kind of guy that wants to clear it, in which case, great. We're going to drop in. We're going to do it slow. We're going to switch back to our crossbow. That's up. That's down. Let's go for a dip and see what happens. See, we still got some snakes there. So let's double check our escape route. Okay, we know it's that way. We're going to ditch the crossbow now. Ditch the rope. And this is going to be a little bit dangerous. We're going to try and lure these things up towards us on the surface so we can shoot our gun at them. Let's throw a little punch around. Scuba flippers is recommended on the WIKI. I don't see it. I'm going to take a little heat, but my armor is protecting me. Even if you're in hide, you probably only drop to half or a quarter health as long as you've cleared out the sarcos. Those are the mega piranhas ripping into me right now. Most of them have drowned though. They're not smart enough to stay off the surface. Having a headache, just want to get the heck out of Dodge here. Let's use that up. One of the reasons why I want to make sure those hotkeys are always the same so that you can react quickly. And look, they just didn't follow me. I think we can snipe them from here. Again, all this ammo and all this effort for what's in that box, forget about it. That's why that sniper is lovely, isn't it? Now there's probably still some more mega piranhas in there. We're not just going to jump in because we think it's done. I'm going to reload all guns, check health, check food. We're not in a rush, right? If you're rushing it, that's good too, but, you know, not my style. Not when I'm alone, not when I'm with no dinos. Let's see what we can do here. My main concern, and you know what? I'm going to keep out this. I can actually shoot right up to the rocks and get out of this water fast, even though it slows me down to swim. Looks like they're both dead. But the mega piranhas, they're still here. So we're going to really be cautious when we open up this bad boy. Obviously, we're not farming obsidian here, boys and girls. Why get encumbered? Oh, Hyenodon Mastercraft. Alright. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe it was worth it. Take that. We got a little bit of a water issue. It's going to start. Oxygen issues depleting health now fast. No big deal. That's why they recommend the scuba. I ain't worried about it because I got my medical brew. So, and we can't eat or drink when we're in the water. We can't eat or drink when we're on the crossbow. Okay, bear that in mind. Get that health back up. We're going to chew through a little food because we're healing. Another shot of health. And then that's like a lot of it done. There's I was sure there was a third explorer note, but WIKI says 2. People say 2. I just thought there was 3, and I thought it was right around here. So when we're on our way out, like we're basically done. We're going to take a look, make sure that we did get all the notes. That's the rise, as I call it. We'll make sure there's not one hidden in here. And you see we do get the lower spawns, right? Now if you come in with a group, you might need to be patient. It can take a few minutes for that to respawn, but that's a chance to tame a dung beetle if you need one, right? And then we're going to show you the other lake where there's another loot drop. It's up at the entrance area. Always want to be checking that stamina before we go for a swim. That's pretty obvious, but heck, don't forget. That's where I cleared everything up. We could swim across there now. Yeah, I don't know. Makes me nervous. Been there, done that, died. So we'll just go the long way. Or the safer way. Shall we go check out what's over there, guys? Let's do it. This is a pretty safe swim, even with the dinos in, but those sarcos might come at you and they'll tear you to shreds. If I was getting in trouble, like I am right now, the piranhas, boom. Okay. We've already been here. Got to press the C button to get that unloaded. There's those pile of piranhas. And those things will tear you up. Let's take a look if there's any more. There, we got the loot crate. We got most of the animals dead. I mean, this place really, we got the riffraff taken care of. That's the note we already got. Now we're just going to get out of here. And we're going to double check for the other green loot drops in a pond. Similar battle plan. And we'll get the green loot drop just cause. I'm going to clear this thing up real good. We'll make it, we'll get her done. Get her done, boys, get her done. Now we're heading on up here. Oh, looks like we got respawns on dinos because we've been in here for a while. That sound alone, just a little reminder, let's be a little more cautious. Watch that stamina, we don't want to get jammed up, right? If it gets down to a quarter and you have a quiet spot, take a second, get it back up there. And you notice the dinos are pretty low level. As we get into the harder caves and we progress, that's going to change. I will have time, by the look of it, to do 2 more caves today. And we'll be hitting them up in order. There's also a Twitch and YouTube video of me doing 5 back-to-back, but that was with a crew. No explanations, no tutorials, so we're going to do it this way. I believe this is where we make our right turn to clear the other lake. Let's double check. And I missed it. Or it's up ahead further, but let's double check. And now, like I said, my apologies, but I am not good with maps. So, alright, so this, I believe, is the one. Yeah, there's our other drop, right? Let's go down and see if we can get that one. Oh, look. They've definitely respawned, and, you know, it's an example of what to do. What not to do, not checking, not clearing, but I got the power and the guns to handle that quite easily. Always checking to make sure I don't fall asleep, though. All the guns in the world aren't very effective when you're passed out in the cave. I believe see, I'm starting to make some wrong turns here. Let's see if we get... This is the big lake, I think. We'll make sure. Not much down here. Not really worth going for. No drops. Dinos just for obsidian. Nope. I guess that was probably made in the early days of the map when the island was created in EA. There wasn't as many resources. I believe this is the lake with the drop that we didn't get. There it is. Okay. First thing we want to do is look around for sarcos because they're fast. There's all those mega piranhas. You see they're already starting to come at me. I'm just drowning. Mega piranhas. I wouldn't call them very bright. There's more. Look at all of them. There's tons, right? We need to get these things cleared first. And if we get jammed up, we're going to be hitting on that grappling hook real fast. I think you guys get the idea. I mean, I don't know if I need to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. There they come. They have the better visibility, those dinos down there. Even with my ghillie suit, they see me pretty good. And there's still a lot more. So if I head down there just straight dip like that, look at the sarcos, there's a lot of problems. So we're going to definitely start with the mega piranhas. Start luring up some of these now, and we'll use our grappling hook. We'll pull right out. See if we can get some shots fired here on the sarcos. Can't see much, eh? Let's go for a little swim skis. And now we're talking about 3 sarcos, a bunch of worms. Looks like the mega piranhas are dealt with. All for the green drop? Heck, we're going to do it anyways, but... oh. This guy's going to take a little damage, but not too bad. We'll swim him out. There we go, got a few more. Armor looks like it's going to be taking some damage. And if you're just rolling high gear, low health, you're going to want to wait. you know, you might want to come back for these later, because I'm surviving it because I have decent armor, which will have to be repaired. It's still more resources now for this green drop, which could be a freaking slingshot. Alright, so here we're going to try and get at least the Sarcos out. And we're grappling the hell out of here as soon as they get live. Come on, dummy. You see me? Look at this guy. There he goes. There's the next one. See why I love grappling hooks? Again, if you don't have them yet, they're a little later in the game, then maybe don't do this part. You can easily get the artifact without any troubles. These lakes are probably the harder part of the cave. I'm really focusing the Sarcos more now. I want to make sure they're out because there's one more there. They do a heck of a lot of damage. Once they're done, we can take a few more gambles with these guys here. Come on, tough guy. One piece. There he goes. No? I mean, how hard is this? It's just practice. You're making sure you got your stuff where you know where it is. And be ready for an unfortunate misfire in some cases. You may have known sometimes with the shotgun it just doesn't work. It clicks and you can run into it once in a while. Unfortunately, the same problems. And here's where our sword might come in handy. We're obviously not going to be able to get the drop till we deal with these worms. So let's double check our swim route out. Make sure that we can get out of the water quick, because we're going to be luring them up to the surface. And we want to make sure we're in a spot where we can really jump out fast. So this is our exit strategy. So same thing applies to water. We got to have our exit strategy. You need an exit strategy for most things in life, honestly. And these guys, unfortunately, with the ghillie suit, don't really see me too well, and they may not want to. That one's already dead. And crossbow with arrows here, we could be shooting. I'm just not carrying any. It's almost to the point to with this ghillie suit, I could grab this. But let's go to work. Did anyone else come with him? You see, he's not even interested. I mean... So I guess that's where they like the scuba suit, right? I gotta fight these guys somehow, and they just don't really want to follow me. That would be a problem if there's all the piranhas there. That one bounce could have been the enemy. Oh, we're gonna go for it. You grapple him, pull him close to us here. Yep. Wow, that grapple never ceases to provide. This guy wants to take a little swim. This guy wants to come up to the surface and get shot. Come on out. Fishing for snakes here. You want to be quick on the buttons now. Oh, looks like someone came with him to help out. Now we're taking a little heat. We're in trouble. Let's get out of here. Falling asleep here is going to be an issue. We need to get back on the ground. In case, ooh boy, that's going to hurt. Let's get some stim into us. There he is. He's a tough one. And down we go. Unlikely we're going to survive this. Oh, we got the sleeping bags at least. Maybe we will. I mean, he's not doing a whole lot of damage. Now he is. So a great example of why those things just aren't worth it, right? I mean, I want to go get that just to see that it's a slingshot, but yikes. So we know right away we're here. We got our X marker. We'll run down there right away. I believe we went to the left to get there, so we'll get down there and get our gear back. If you like, for safety, and this is why I do it, I usually keep an extra gun or two in here. Sadly, I don't have one. We're going to be running like a madman. I believe we're going left. And that snake may be lingering around my body, which is why having that second gun could be really helpful. What we're going to end up having to do is kite him, get him away from my body. Might get knocked out and fall asleep again. We got 15 minutes on that bag, so if it takes a little bit of tactics to get it out, that's okay. I'm going to take the shortcut here, try and kind of cliffside it. Big mistake was taking that jump, of course. That reduced so much of my health that I was in trouble. Here's where our speed comes in handy. And I'm almost lost trying to get my body, so there's going to be some problems, I believe. Hopefully we can find it. We ought to get that body, the artifacts there. Guess we could grab another one, but I'm not giving up on my gear. Hope is this guy doesn't web me again. Gotta watch that stamina. Gotta figure out where my stuff is. Everything's respawned at this point. We are unarmed and depending on our speed and luck to get us through it. Main thing is don't panic. Don't give up. Take a wild guess that it's across there somewhere. Here's where those Sarcos respawn. We could be in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't look like they have. Piranhas have. There she is. Now we're going to be extra cautious. Just a little worried. Some of the dinos linger near your body, some don't. And look at that, he's lingering. He's like glued to it along with those. This is a deadly situation. I'm going to go another way around. Deadly, but possibly doable. Can we get to it from here? Nope. Well, we might, but we're not going to do it that way. Well, let's get a look. He's just having a nice friendly snooze right there. We got our spiders with their webs on the right. We're hungry. And, he's going to poison us right away, so we need to figure out how to kite him. Come on to Poppy. Oh boy, a Sarco too. They're not making it easy for me, are they? We just need to get everybody away from our body and then we'll circle around, be good to go. Once we get that shotgun and those weapons back, these guys are going to pay for hurting me, that's for sure. Let's see if that's going to work. Don't panic, keep moving. Once we pick up that body, we're going to run like heck. First thing, let's eat. Let's have a brew. Let's get what isn't broken on. Let's reload weapons. And then let's take revenge. Can't let that slide, boys. Can't let that slide. And girls. You want some? Oh, there's that flash at the wrong time. These people will pay a heavy price. Oh boy, we didn't want to do that. This will not be left unchecked. Particularly that snake that knocked me out in the first place. Titan Bow has gots to go. There you are, buddy. You remember me? Now I'm back. See how we're looking on this green drop that we put so much effort into. Sarko's back. No. Alright, let's go for it like this, Quiet Styles. We'll have our grappling hook ready in case we gotta pull out. Oh, the piranhas are back. Can't really do that with piranhas chomping us now, can we? You see too, I'm taking a little more damage now because I don't have as much armor. That was probably just 2 stragglers. I don't think they've all respawned, but we're going to be very cautious. We're going to sneak from this angle. Journeyman trike saddle, you see? No. That's what I died for. Now it appears one of the snakes might have woken up and started chasing me. But we've done everything we can do in this cave, including a demonstration of what to do when you die. And the #1 rule is just don't panic, don't give up. Figure it out and get back there. You have time. You've got 15 minutes on that marker, on that body bag. So let's get the F out of Dodge, call it a day, and we'll call it a success. I believe we've got the artifact, we got the notes, we got one of the loot crates, the other one we got to with a little bit of difficulty, but as I mentioned, that water, those ponds are kind of the most deadly area, but if you just rinse and repeat what I did, you'll be alright. Of course, that the high-end armor, and not even high-end, ghillie is pretty much medium-end ghillie, but it certainly played an effective role in hiding me. Now, hide will work, guys. You don't need the ghillie. Can't carry more than 1 artifact at a time. There is a dino, which I forget, which allows you, or he does carry some. So if you're doing a cave run with multiple dinos, a cave run doing multiple caves at the same time, to avoid having to go back to base and ditch the artifact, bring that dino with you. He'll store your artifacts for you. Remember what I was saying? Always go up. That's the way out for this cave. Now I'm going to pick up my sleeping bags because I'm not wasteful. Don't really want to leave any unnecessary messes on the surface, on the server that we don't need. I used 1. They're 1 time only, right? I had 2 left. And probably won't be able to get onto this bird because it's in the cave. Now I don't leave my animals on the outside. There are caves where you have to, but I bring them in pretty good because I don't want them dying. These slobs, they're slobs, I tell you. Now these will automatically disappear on the server. It's not going to cause any lag. Now we go. Always a little bit of loading screen as we change worlds there. Bird was on passive on the inside. That's debatable. And away we go. Home sweet home, ladies and gents. So that's how it is. You know, we had a little bit of a hitch with the death, but it's almost good that it happened because it's not always going to go perfect. And you want to see what to do when it doesn't. So it's been my pleasure. Like I said, I'll put a link to the wiki to the cave. But some of the information is a little bunk in there, so take it with a grain of salt. And if you enjoyed the video, you guys know, I gotta say it anyway because a buddy of mine was like, no, you have to say it. Put the notifications, put the subscribe, hit a like. If you want to play on our server, it's open to the public. We have 4 maps in a cluster. All of them are PvE. We're doing a playthrough the whole game. Starting with, you know, I'm a little behind some of the other guys, and then there's guys that are just joining. So I take them with me on the caves, their first time if they like. We do events on the Discord so you know when certain people are doing caves, you can all join. It's a pretty awesome place, very friendly, active, healthy community. And you're more than welcome to join it. There's always join links right down there in the info page. Just make that info section bigger so you can get the 411 skis. Now, first and foremost, guys, have a great day. Stay safe out there on the Ark, and thanks for coming out, man. It's been a real pleasure. I enjoyed making this video, actually. It was pretty fun. So hopefully in an hour or 2 we'll work on the second cave, and we'll be just doing them over the next couple days. So you have yourselves a great one. In the meantime, I'll be taking a quick 5 minutes. Gotta let that adrenaline rush flow down. All right? Thank you, guys. Take care of yourselves.